Good morning. Well, for me, it's morning. It's Monday morning. There's no telling when you're reviewing this. Some of you may have already seen it, but trying to do some updates on our specific market that are dedicated to parts of our market. We've done one on investment property, and this one's going to focus on condos in the Athens area, condos specific values, condo appreciation, which has really been remarkable over the last year or two. But I'm going to take it a little further back. It took me a week of delving up some information and kind of going back to 2017, 2018. So this is for a lot of our clients that own condos. In general, just information of people to stay informed and hopefully find us in the future if this is something they're looking to do. So let's get started. Let me move my face down here. Well, I got the double face there. All right. So what are we going to cover? First thing is a general overview of the Athens condo market. And we'll go over that. But one of the big things you're going to see that I'm going to discuss is this yearly percentage of condo appreciation. That's what's been so phenomenal to see after condos probably fell off the hardest after the mortgage crisis. We're going to take a look at some site specific property values. Now, if you own a condo and I don't have that site in there, that's okay. You can reach out to us directly. It's hard to cover every single complex in town and give you some explanations for why we've seen such a quick appreciation, and then basically an overall look at the market and what we forecast. So, what are we seeing here? And I'll bring my face back up top now. General overview of the market and conditions. Well, first thing to know is that the value surged in 2021 after having a very good 2020. The financing options in the condo market are better, but they're still unique and you can run into some hurdles. Don't go into a condo sale without understanding the financing. You will possibly sabotage yourself as a seller and a buyer. The student area condos or rental condos, could be both, seem to have had the biggest gains in value. Now, there's also a lot of complexes in town that are against Airbnb and Verbo properties. I will tell you, some of the condos that have allow that have seen so much better appreciation versus the ones that will not. And I think you should probably understand how those work instead of assuming that they're a negative thing. Overall, the market is showing some signs of cooling off. That doesn't mean that it's going to be bad. It's just kind of not the frenzy. But it's August for us right now, and I think it's going to feel different come January and February. So while the market's still strong, it's definitely adjusted a little bit from where it was. And let's go on to the next one. So value gains and other market insights. Well, most places we have seen a 10% or equity gain at minimum, in most cases, significantly higher than that. The value per square foot on these condos is definitely going to vary based on the area. You might see as upwards of 300 in downtown and backing down into the 200s when we're talking about some areas of 5 points. I alluded to it before. Please be aware of financing issues. They remain something you need to know about. It's our job to inform you on what makes your condo not qualify for a certain type of loan a buyer's trying to get. And what we also saw was a lot of the rental condos that have traditionally been rented properties by the owners have started to flip over into owner occupancy or second home. So we're seeing a lot of that. I'm going to restate it again. Airbnb is a good thing, not a bad thing. Feel free to reach out so we can explain that to you. And if you're ever thinking about selling, it's August now. Fall, winter, and spring are really great times to sell, not the summer. You also need to be thinking about not pre-leasing that condo if it is a leased property. Now we'll come back down and my head here. Property value gain. So I'm going to kind of break this out by area and go year by year. This is where the information can be a lot. So, but I think it's really worth seeing. On these graphs, I basically got the percentages 2% to 27%, and from 2018. Now, this is the average appreciation in 5 points. This doesn't mean that this is every single condo. It means if it was a condo in the 5 points area on the high end or the low end, we took a look at the appreciation. So going back to 2018, we sold what we would consider almost like an inflation rider, keeping a 3% equity gain. And, usually you might see 5 to 7, but 3% where is normal. 2019, we saw a huge jump. A lot of condos started to sell, and that I remember that year, and that drove some values up for some of the lower end values. And then in 2020, while we saw 5% appreciation, one of the reasons for that, there was an outlier complex that had a lot of sales that were at a lower price point. So that's not reflecting that all these other condos that are on the higher end. It just kind of threw a lot into the market that sold because the market was so strong. And then we got back to a 12% equity gain in 2021. So 17% in 2019, 12% in 2021. Buying a condo in Athens, Georgia would have been a good investment. It still is. Let's go to downtown because I'm kind of looping these two together because a lot of people from outside the area focus on these two. 2018, 14% appreciation. Very strong. 2019, 7% appreciation. 2020, we skyrocketed again to 16%. And then we finally cooled off. I think this might surprise people that only 3% in 2021. We've seen a lot of condo sales. Some of them have been a little flat. Most of them are taking place at Game Day Center. But what we're also seeing is nothing is really traded at the Georgian. Not very much. Also, Con Exchange, hardly anything on the market. There are a few complexes that if something would sell, it would really impact the additional equity gain. We'll kind of go by some values by the area and specific locations. So right now we're in 5 Points in downtown, and we're just looking at what's the most recent thing to happen. In University Towers, which is downtown, 2 bedrooms around 230 to 245. There's only a couple with more bedrooms than that. That's going to be about 300,000 with a 13% equity gain. Church and Waddell is going to be more of an owner occupied area, and you might get a 3 bedroom upwards of $650,000 or more. And then, on the lower end, you're going to be about high twos, maybe up to 400. Look at that equity gain, 23% in 2021. The overlook on Baxter is up about 14%. 440, 520, big gap there. Princeton Court also saw a lot. We saw 425 to 475, 17% gain. Cotton Exchange, a little bit of speculation here. Some units that had not been touched sold around 250, 259. I know a lot of owners there that if they were to sell, we'd probably be talking something in the threes. 17% equity gain. Same with the Georgian. We just don't have the transactions. The Georgian Hotel, that's now condos, has done great. Penthouse is going for 550, but I would probably speculate a 2 bedroom could get 350 right now. Game Day Center, also the bottom end right now for something that's not updated is 350,000. And then if you've got top floor extra square footage, you're probably looking 400. And then we also had the largest unit there sell for 695. All right, student or rental condos. These are the ones in 5 Points area that people generally rent out. And at Lumpkin Square, we've got it going to $215,000. 20% equity gain. The Courtyard at Baxter Street, I sold one there and we brought that up 30% in 2021. Jamestown, 24% gain. Chadsworth and Cloverhurst, 20% gain in equity. Deering Courtyard, only one unit sold. We're looking at 10% gain, and it would have been more if we could have got an updated unit there. Eaglewood, I personally purchased one there as an investment, and we saw a 17% gain. Same at Windsor Place, which is at Macon Highway. So look at those gains across the board for these, and it's the lower property value units that are having the biggest opportunity to gain. All right, west of Athens, this is like Woodlake area, Timothy Road. These are condos that are not often rentals, but they can be. A lot of owner occupancy. Looking at 2018, 2019, pretty flat, normal appreciation. Boom, we skyrocketed in 2020 to 21%, which we maintained in 2021. Big reason for this was Woodlake. Woodlake has been immensely popular on the west side, and there's really nothing on that side of town that's quite like it. So let's take a look at the Highlands at Woodlake. We're talking about $200,000, 14% equity gain. The flats inside the gate, which are the 3 bedrooms with the elevator, more of a mid-rise, 12% equity gain. Just sold one there last month for 270. Now the rest of Woodlake has got a couple other complex, but the 3 bedrooms at the top of the hill are probably going to be low twos with a 10% equity gain. Terraces at Timothy, which is right there at the corner of Epps Bridge and Timothy Road, 17% equity gain, selling in the mid twos. Ballard Creek, big range there because we have some 2 bedrooms that are going to trade around 130. And then we just sold a 3 bedroom there for 170, which is the highest sell because there hadn't been a 3 bedroom sell in quite some time. 23% equity gain at Ballard Creek. And you can call it Tamara Hills is like tomato. Tamara Hills, 159 for a 2 bedroom, 20% equity gain. All right. So now we got to go to the east side. The east side is also heavy on rental, heavy on student, and owner occupancy. It's got a lot going on. And what's kind of nice about the east side is the steady eddy of it. You will notice that the appreciation is a little less than some of the other areas, which is very normal. The east side is always appreciated. It's just always been at a different tick. So 2018, 10% equity growth, 11% in 2019, 13% in 2020, and then 14% in 2021. If you had a crystal ball, wouldn't you go back and buy Woodlands condos when they were at $110,000 or 105? Man, that's just great to see what's going on there in East Athens. Now we'll take a look at some of the site-specific areas. There are some excluded, like Ansonboro, Georgetown. It's just you can't get every single condo complex in here. If you own something there, feel free to reach out. We can kind of get you an idea of your value. Let's take a look at the Woodlands and the Summit. We're going to group those together since they're built by Dovetail and very similar. 2 bedrooms now in the high 170s. 3 bedrooms standalones 215. 200 or a little more for 3 bedroom in a complex. 13% gain. Stones Creek. We've been involved in these 2 sales. So 165 for a 2 bedroom in a contract right now. $200,000 for a 3 bedroom. 18% gain. There's 2 sales have been done here at 5 Market. Brookwood Mill, a little bit newer than just a smidge than maybe the Woodlands, but down the street, and 20% equity gains, now selling at 180,000 ballpark for 2 bedrooms. Millage Place, you might recall, this is east side, but just barely. You go out Millage, you cross the loop, and then you turn left before the UGA golf course. Millage Place has seen a lot of positive gain, but you've got a lot in there. 2 bedroom that's not updated, 155. You've got updates, 180. 4 bedroom, not updated. Looks like we got one at about 210, 15% appreciation. And the big story is really at Woodstone. So Woodstone Park, which is the 100 Woodstone, those condos have appreciated 21% with the 2 bedroom selling now for 170,000. Now the Woodstone Golf Village just past there is a little bit nicer, a little nicer unit, backs up the UGA golf course. Those values are at 175, but just for lack of sales. We just don't have anything transacting. I do think you could push that close to 200 if we got another unit. So let's just kind of that was a lot of numbers. You probably paid attention, I hope. And now we're about 11 minutes in. So let me just try to wrap this up before you've already lost me. What do we know and what do we project? Well, the values of the lower price units grew the most. And that just makes sense because if you're trying to buy something in this market, what's more affordable is going to have more people able to buy it, thereby driving up the price. We expect buyer demand to slow a little bit. I don't think you need to hear that in the sense of things are going to stop. Things got so frantic that it needs to cool off, and we're expecting that to be maybe about 75% of what it was last year. Now, I do expect this appreciation to cool down. You should not expect 30% equity gains like some places saw. Probably going to see that back down to around the 5%, which is great. We want that to happen. That's normal. In some cases, if it stayed flat for a year or two, you'd still be way up on your property value if you were an owner. Investment property is becoming harder to buy in parts of the country, and it's bringing people to our area. And, in some areas, I'll just call the state out, California, that we have people call all the time and go, well, it doesn't make sense here. There's no reason to buy in this area. And people start to look towards other areas of the country. And that's happening here in Athens. Another thing is second home market is driven a lot of this. We have people that are now buying a condo in Athens that instead of the beach, which has always existed, but it seems to have happened a little bit more over this year. There's always the UGA parent buyer, but the big driver of some of these higher end condos is retirement. We have a lot of people looking to downsize and move to our area. Now, we expect housing costs that will also kind of create a little bit of inflation that's real estate's going to hedge against. So unfortunately, the cost of housing is a problem for a lot of people, and that is affecting rents, and that's also going to affect values of purchase prices. Now, one thing I do want to mention to you before we end is a lot of people that are thinking about selling, they go ahead and they pre-lease their unit in the fall. They're managed by a manager, and they haven't thought about it because if your condo is available to be occupied in August of 2022, that is very attractive to a lot of people. And so really think hard before you let your property manager put you in a lease if you're considering selling. If you have any questions, you can always reach out. Reach out to me directly, or you can just reach out to the company, info@5M Realty. My email address will be on the next page. And basically, we couldn't cover your condo, or you have questions about what I'm referring to with the financing or Airbnb and Vrbo stuff, reach out to us directly. We just want to keep you informed and obviously help you when that time comes around. And then we'll end here with places to go. Hopefully you're at this website right now, athensrealestatetalk.com, which is my personal site, not the company site. And then there's my email address, Scott@5M Realty. And we live in a world where you need my cell phone, 706-340-0424 is right there. Reach out to me either way. And hope you have a great week. Not sure when you're watching this, hopefully sometime in August before Labor Day, as we try to get this condo update circulated to everyone. Have a great one. And let me close it out.